If you want to know how urgently a singer means the lyrics of their song, the official title being listed in block capitals may be a good clue. Amid retro horn section and old-school hip-hop beats, Ray fits in a lot of rapid-fire lyrics to ask repeated variations on the title, "Where is my husband?" And sure, she sings about the big shiny diamond, but there's a deeper fear at work. It's not just wanting a ring. At 28, Ray is feeling too old to be single and increasingly desperate to find a husband. She sings, "Tell him I'm kind, tell him I'm 5'5", tell him I got brown eyes and a growing fear that if he doesn't find me now I'm going to die alone, so can you hurry up here?" In some ways, the voice of her grandma is the highlight of the whole song. But I still don't quite know whether "your husband is coming" is reassuring or whether it just adds another level of pressure. I can really imagine a young single woman hearing "your husband is coming" and throwing herself into trying to behave in the kinds of ways that will make a man see her as the perfect wife, supposedly. Making sure her face is perfectly gorgeous, her body and her clothes immaculately put together, speaking sweetly to anyone she meets, offering visitors a drink, and perhaps even offering to water their camels too. Rebecca's behaviour, when we first encounter her in the middle of Parshat Chayyei, makes her look like truly ideal bride behaviour, bride material. When she meets the servant at the well, at first she speaks politely to him. She gives him and his camels water to restore themselves after their travels, and then she offers lodging in her family's home. She is clearly kind, hospitable, and not afraid to work hard. Oh, and of course, she's very beautiful. In the eyes of the ancient rabbis, however, she becomes a true paragon. She is utterly pure. She is more beautiful than anyone but Sarah. She's capable, age 3, of drawing hundreds of gallons of water, but she's also so holy that the spring jumps up to meet her. It's as if the rabbis need to push their image of her to extremes in order to make her worthy of her position as a matriarch. But there's a problem. Because if you read on in Torah, you will discover that Rebecca is not always a paragon. Rebecca consults God when she has a difficult pregnancy, and she helps to ensure that God's promises are fulfilled. But she has a favourite child, and she leads that child into deceiving Isaac, his father, her husband, the same man who had prayed for her when she was struggling to conceive. Like many characters in Torah, Rebecca is interesting precisely because she is complicated. She has flaws, and she has amazing strengths. She's an example to emulate, and her life includes elements really to avoid repeating. Yet the Rebecca we meet this week, through the eyes of the rabbis, is a matriarch put through some strong Instagram filters. Sure, she looks fantastic, even perfect, but depth has been lost, and she's been squeezed into a mould that is both complementary and constraining. And I think that too much exposure to this kind of perfection, even when we rationally know that it's been artificially achieved, can feel less like we have something to aspire to, and more simply make us feel bad about our own imperfections. We are being conditioned to expect lives that live up to glossy pictures of happiness, to work that is done as quickly and as accurately as any machine could, and to see anything less as somehow not worthy of recognition or even love. Now, it's true that many mistakes are regrettable. Even in the past week, I have been kicking myself over things from birthdays I nearly missed, names I got wrong, to errors that I should have corrected in the duff that you have in your hands today. You may have your own list, but I think about delighting in getting it wrong. It's simply that making mistakes should not be a reason to write us off as people, as human beings worthy of love and respect. There's a concept that many of you may know from the world of youth movements, which is part of an image of concentric circles of work that we need to do. And if Tikkun Olam is the outermost circle of repair that we need to do with that wider world, Tikkun Atzmi is the innermost circle, describing the work of repairing ourselves. Some people derive this from the verse in Pirkei Avot, where Hillel's statement beginning Im ein ani li nili. That statement perhaps suggesting that while we need to work for the good of others, we may need to begin with ourselves. The root of tikkun as repair or straighten starts with an assumption that imperfection is normal and it allows for improvement of varying degrees. Tikkun Atzmi is an important part of the Musar movement, a Jewish practice of spiritual development and personal transformation. But the Israeli trauma-informed psychotherapist Esther Nava explains that Musar is not about perfection. It's not a quest to be flawless, but rather a practice of deepening. It's not about becoming ideal, it's about becoming whole. Musar is not about extremes of virtue or sin, but working towards a better balance and creating a fuller human experience. Working on Tikkun Atzmi, on self-repair, means following Leonard Cohen's advice. Ring the bells that can still ring. Forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. The ancient rabbis of the Midrash seem to need to make Rebecca into a kind of saint, a woman so perfect that she is worthy of being one of the key ancestors of the Jewish people. But we see often today that putting people on pedestals or expecting perfection makes it easy for any flaw we later detect to become a reason to tear them down or totally discredit them. A Musar approach would suggest a greater richness to be found in forgetting perfection and seeing flaws as opportunities to work on whatever improvement may be possible, even if it doesn't reach perfection, and finding value in ringing the bells that can still ring. The complex characters revealed in the stories that Torah tells provide a counterbalance to the insta-glossy world that we are often sold. They remind us that perfection is not required, because real humans always need work. And yet, in all our complications, in all our imperfections, we are all worthy of love, dignity, and respect. Matriarchs, patriarchs, everyone in between, we need only be work in progress. And to all the Rebeccas and the Rays, please know that your husband may be coming, but you don't have to be perfect to deserve him.